Yo, okay, so we're back with chapter two, The Man the Moment Demands. And I'm gonna do it exactly the same way I did it last time, where I just go through all the points that hit home for me throughout the chapter and kind of my take on the chapter. So, first thing that I was reading, achieved triumphs through dismantling deceptive beliefs that held you back. Jason tells an anecdote about how when he used to be a DJ back in the day, all he would play was hip hop. And so he couldn't work jobs where they needed a diverse music catalog. So then what ended up happening is when he needed more jobs, he would just assist other DJs who did have a diverse catalog. And he remembers a time when he DJ'd for a party that needed more music than just hip hop, and someone asking him to spin other music besides the hip hop while the main DJ was in the bathroom. And he was like, I only spin hip hop. And that being one of the things where it was kind of like he was proud of it, but the person wasn't. Like, that's all you got on the skill list. And so he told us that story because then he said after that experience, he decided to diversify his music, get some new genres going in there, and not just stand behind this is the only thing that I'm able to do. And in that, he started to become one of the biggest DJs people were asking for. And he could charge whatever he wanted because he took the time to get better at his craft and broaden his horizon. So to me, that stood out because I'm always thinking about how can I take the one skill I have and then add to it and truly perfect it, especially when it comes to things that you've already got a handle on. Like at some point, if you've done something enough, you should be like, all right, I'm comfortable. Let me make myself uncomfortable by going into something new that can add to this skill that I have. So that was dope. We then get to a juicy topic, and that is him going into the actual 10 characteristics of a man or of a comprehensive man. So he breaks it down into three themes. The first theme is dynamic characteristics, and the dynamic characteristics call you to action. After, it's deeper characteristics. Those require you to look within. And last, it's the devotion characteristics. And with that, you're supposed to focus on your closest relationships. So in those three themes, there is 10 characteristics, and the first three go underneath the dynamic characteristics. So first off, you have the fighter. So the fighter masters his ego and emotions, which becomes an advantage. And also he knows when to engage and when to walk away. The provider provides essential resources, guidance, and support for his friends, family, community, and himself. That one was super dope to me because one, the essential word stood out to me the most because it's like these aren't just random things that he's providing you. And in today's case would be like materialistic things. Like, oh, a new phone. Oh, that. Like it is essential resources, guidance, and support for not only his friends, his family, but his community and himself. Community was something that I hadn't thought about before, intentionally. Like you think about, what am I doing for the world? If you're someone who believes they have a purpose to serve the world in some form or fashion or to give, then yes, you're thinking about how can I give back to my community, but also the himself, because many of the times we're thinking about how we can give to other people and not to ourselves. And I like that he saved that for last, because if you're not providing for yourself, you can't provide certain things for others. I'm not going to say you can't provide anything to others, but you can't provide certain things. So to provide the essentials, you have to be able to provide the essentials for yourself. So I don't know if he did that on purpose by saving it for last, but that was cool. The leader is the next one. He guides and inspires others. He leads through actions and not through intimidation. He knows when to speak and he knows when to listen. Now, those were under the dynamic characteristics. So again, calls you to action. The next one, deeper characteristics, we're starting to look in. So starting off with the lover, he knows that his love is based on his actions. So devotion to Yah, which is who Jason refers to as God in the book. He uses another name for God. Loving his neighbor and maintaining his own well-being. So the next one, the nurturer, cultivates growth and development for those within their influence and beyond. And then the third one, the gentleman, I'm gonna just read this one because this one's chunky. The gentleman exudes respect for others and himself through deliberate and appropriate etiquette without compromising his values. For that, the key words for me were deliberate and appropriate and himself. I think those, and I put them when I took notes, in big letters, because again, that idea that you're doing something for someone else first before you're able to do it for yourself is so prominent, I think, in this whole chapter, in my opinion, because you cannot be a gentleman for others and respect others if you're not respecting yourself. So that was why I bolded himself. And then I think deliberate and appropriate is a lot of the times, at least in my personal life, I would do things that are deliberate, sometimes appropriate, sometimes not. But the thing is, no one else knows when you're doing something deliberately, or they might not find what you find appropriate for the situation, in which case you have to stand strong in why you're doing something. And at the end of the day, if you're proud of what you did in that situation, I think that's the part that's so like annoying, because I get like this where it's like, I'm doing something on purpose. I'm doing something that I feel like is the right thing to do. And it may very well be the right thing to do. And if your peers or someone who's unaware of it makes you feel bad or makes you feel like it's not the right thing to do because of something that they might deem a better way to handle it or better for the scenario, then you might go against what it is that may have been appropriate for the situation. So yeah, that's what stood out to me. So I thought the gentleman was really cool. We move on to the fourth one, the friend. So the friend loves at all times and is steadfast in the face of adversity, is willing to lay his life down for his companions. We then go into the devotion characteristics. So first is the husband, who emulates Christ sacrificially by giving himself to his wife to treat her like he would like to be honored and make sure her well-being is intact. Next is the father, who I didn't think this one was for me. It just doesn't apply in my life currently because I'm not a father. So I don't need to meet that demand. The father desires his children's trust and provides a safe space for them to receive love, learn from their mistakes, and conquer their fears, as what a father should do. If I was one, I definitely would focus heavily on this one. And then last is the son. This I am. The son unwaveringly, we got it, supports his parents despite challenges, embracing the journey and honoring them with his words, heart, and actions. This one I had to think about for a little bit, not because I don't listen to my parents or that I shouldn't listen to my parents. Let's say that, because sometimes I don't. But when you have crappy parents, I thought about those who either don't have their parents around or have shitty ones who don't give you the right advice or just make it to where you don't feel like you can trust them because they've let you down so many times or just weren't there. That's one of the ones where I feel like you have to know that it demands you to not be that, and to then be that with people who hold those positions but aren't necessarily those people, like a father figure or a mother figure, someone you trust. And then you become someone who's able to honor the people you truly love with your words, your actions, and your heart. So that was kind of like a substitute if you were a son of parents that weren't around. Mine are. That was 10 characteristics and the 3 themes that they fall within. And then as I continue reading, I got to another interesting bit, which I'll just read this. Many men who've broken free of emotional incarceration struggle to maintain due to have been doing it for the wrong reasons. So I'm going to pause there. The reason is other people. And as soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. If you're somebody who's just now getting a handle on how to be a comprehensive man and how to be in touch with your feelings, and then you start being that for other people. He calls the term, where did I write it down? He calls the term emotional recidivism. Recidivism? I think it's emotional recidivism. We're going to go with that. And that being a risk for if you're only learning emotional freedom to be able to give to your wife, to give to friends, family, jobs, like other people besides yourself. Because the moment that they don't notice you being deliberate about it, then you feel like you're unappreciated, which makes sense. And also brings me to my next point and the next thing that we talk about in the book, which is internal validation. He uses the example, it's like driving a car with a hole in the gas tank. If you're constantly doing it for the appreciation of others, and you're not getting it, then you're not going anywhere. So internal validation is where it starts and then blossoms into you just being able to do it naturally, which in my personal life, I feel like having not even read this book all the way through, I'm able to pinpoint because I am aware of certain emotions and I pay attention and I make sure I'm like deliberate with certain things that I was doing those things and was upset, getting to that surface emotion of anger because people weren't appreciating what I was doing because they didn't know what I was doing and only I knew and I wanted them to see it. and they couldn't. But now I'm like, it's like a reverse Uno card, because now you're starting to think like I was going about it the wrong way. So really, even though they didn't see it and I could have felt like they were wrong for that in that moment, I'm wrong because I was doing it for someone else's appreciation. And yeah, that was in order what I got from the chapter. I did get more homework, which I love. I did it. I'm actually going to post an Instagram video on one of the assignments that I had because it's a good assignment. And then the other two, I knocked those out as soon as I finished the chapter. Still have to get my mirror. I just have been using ones in the rooms around me. Gotta find a pocket mirror or get one immediately. I think I might do that today. We'll see. If not, I'll order it. But so far we're too deep, y'all. We are too deep. So double play on that because we're deep in the book, and it's just, this has been fulfilling, like doing this. I feel really excited reading the chapters and like being able to take it back and talk about it. So it's getting deep. So anyway, on to chapter 3 tomorrow. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for sticking with me. Jay, out.